Before you start today, I need you to hear something first. Before the first meeting, before the first conversation, before the first decision that this day is going to ask of you, before you walk into whatever it is that has been sitting in the back of your mind since before you opened your eyes this morning, before any of it, I need you to hear what I am about to say. Because what I am about to tell you is the reason today is going to be different from what you are afraid it will be. I already went ahead of you, not in a general way, not as a theological comfort that sounds reassuring but does not reach the specific fear. Specifically, literally, into the actual meeting, the one you have been dreading since you found out about it, into the actual conversation, the one that feels impossible and necessary at the same time, into the actual decision, the one that has no obvious right answer, into the actual situation, the one that is not resolved and will be waiting for you again today, the same way it was waiting for you yesterday. I was already there before you arrived, and I left something there for you. This is not a video that found you by accident this morning. I placed this in your path before this day began, because there is something you need to know before you take the first step into what today holds. Something that changes the posture with which you walk in. Something that replaces the weight you are about to carry with something far lighter. What I am about to say in the next few minutes is the reason I could not let this day begin without reaching you first. Stay with me, because what comes next changes everything about how today unfolds. My beloved child, I know what today looks like from where you are standing. I know the thing that was already present in your mind before the alarm sounded. The situation that does not wait for you to be fully awake before it makes itself known. I saw the moment this morning when the reality of the day arrived before you were ready for it. The specific thing waiting for you today, I saw it register. I saw the breath that changed when it did. I was there in that moment. I did not look away. I know what is in your calendar today that you wish was not there. The appointment that carries weight, the meeting where something important is at stake, something that cannot be undone if it goes wrong. The interaction with the person who is difficult, whose presence in your life right now costs you something every time. The deadline that is closer than you are prepared for. The conversation that you have been putting off and can no longer put off. I know all of it, not in a general awareness, in the specific, detailed knowledge of someone who has read the day before you lived it. I heard the prayer you prayed before you got out of bed this morning, or the prayer you wanted to pray, but did not quite find the words for. The one that was more a feeling than a sentence. The one that said something like, "Lord, I do not know how today is going to go." The one that carried in it the particular mixture of hope and dread that comes when you know a day holds something significant and you do not feel fully ready. I heard that. I received it before it was finished. And I answered it before you realized you had prayed it. I know the version of today that has been playing in your mind. The one where things go wrong in the specific ways you are most afraid they will go wrong. The one where the conversation does not land the way you need it to. Where the meeting reveals something you were not prepared for. Where the situation escalates instead of resolving. Where you show up and discover that your best is not enough for what the day is asking. I know that version. I know how long it has been running in the background. And I need you to know that version is not what I went ahead into. I was there this morning when you looked in the mirror and wondered whether you have what today requires. I was there in the moment you mentally rehearsed the difficult conversation for what might have been the 15th time, changing the variables, trying to find a version that does not go badly. I was there when the anxiety arrived quietly in your chest before the day had officially begun. I was there when you thought, I am not ready for this, and I want you to know, I heard that thought. I was in the room when you had it, and it brought me here to this moment to tell you, you do not need to be ready in the way you think you do, because I went first. You wondered if today is going to be the day something breaks, the thing you have been holding together by the sheer force of your daily effort finally giving way. You wondered if you have the capacity, the patience, the wisdom, the strength that today specifically requires. You wondered if the prayers you have prayed over this situation have been landing somewhere, or simply rising and dissolving into a silence that means nothing is moving. But I tell you now, none of those fears are the full story. The story you have been telling yourself about today is the story without the most important detail, that I went ahead of you into it. And what changes when you know that detail is not a small thing. It changes everything. You are not alone. Not for a single step of this day. Not for a single conversation, a single decision, a single moment, when what is required exceeds what you feel you have to give. Type, "You went before me, Lord," in the comments if you are stepping into something today that you need God to have already gone into before you, and you are choosing to walk in, knowing He did. But there is more I need to tell you. Something that cannot wait another moment. Something that is the reason I placed this word in your path before this day had a chance to begin. Before I tell you what I found when I went ahead, I need to tell you who you are. Because the person who walks into today knowing I went first walks in differently from the person who does not know. And who you believe you are shapes how you step into what is waiting. Before your first breath, I already chose you. Not the version of you that has it together. Not the version that feels fully prepared for days like this one. The version that is here right now, carrying what this morning brought, facing what today holds, feeling whatever it is you are feeling as you listen to this word. That version. I chose that one. Before you had anything to demonstrate, before you had proven anything to anyone, before a single day of your life had unfolded, I chose you completely, without condition, without a performance requirement attached. I have engraved your name on the palms of my hands. Not written, engraved. The kind of marking that does not fade when circumstances change. The kind that remains when the day is hard and the strength runs low and the situation does not resolve the way you prayed it would. Your name is there. It has always been there. It is there today. Before this day begins, throughout every hour of it, and when it ends. You are not inadequate for what today requires. You are not behind what this season demands. You are not the version of yourself that the fear presents when the day has not yet begun and the imagination has been filling in the blanks with worst-case outcomes. Not because you have all the answers, you do not. Not because you have a perfect plan for everything today will ask. You may not. But because I am the God who goes before you. And a person preceded by the living God into their day does not walk in inadequate. They walk in covered. Pay attention now, because this is the part the fear of today does not want you to receive. I did not release you into this day without preparation. I did not open the morning and send you forward into what it holds without having been there first. I am not the kind of God who stands at the entrance of a hard day and says, "Good luck." I am the kind of God who walks through the hard day before you arrive and then walks back to where you are standing and says, "I have already been there." It is not what the fear said it was. Come, I will show you what I found. I told you through my word, I will go before you and make the rough places smooth. I meant that for this day, for the specific rough places in it that you can already see and the ones you cannot yet see. I meant it for the meeting and the conversation and the decision and the moment of inadequacy that the day will try to present as evidence against you. I went before you, and the rough places I found, I did not leave them the way they were. I am your strength when what today asks exceeds what you brought to it. I am your wisdom in the moments when the right answer is not obvious and the stakes are real. I am your peace in the middle of the conversations that carry weight. I am your courage when what the day requires feels larger than what you feel you are. I am the God who went ahead and who is now walking beside you into what I already prepared. You were worth going ahead for, and still, you are. Now let me tell you what I found when I went into your day before you. Because I went ahead of you is not a feeling. It is a fact about what has already happened in the places today will take you. And you need to know specifically what I did when I got there. Because what I did there changes what you are walking into. In the meeting you have been dreading, I was already in the room. I was there before anyone sat down. I was working on the atmosphere before the first word was spoken. I was at work on the hearts of the people in that room, speaking into their receptiveness, their patience, their willingness to hear. What you are walking into is not the unmanaged, unattended room the anxiety described. It is a room I have already been in. And what I left there, a measure of grace, a thread of possibility, an opening that would not exist without my prior presence, that is what you are walking into. In the conversation that feels impossible, I was there before the first word. I have already spoken into the heart of the person on the other side of it. Not necessarily to give you the outcome you most want. I do not promise you control over outcomes, but to prepare the ground, to soften what was hard, to create a crack of openness where there was none, to make possible what looked impossible from your vantage point, because you were looking at it without knowing I had already been there. In the decision that has no obvious answer, I was there ahead of you. I have already laid out the path. Not all of it. I rarely show you more than the next step. But the next step is there. Clearly enough for you to take it if you will be still enough to see it. What felt like standing at a fog-covered intersection is actually standing at a signposted crossroads. You just could not see the signs yet, because I had not had the chance to tell you I had been there and placed them. In the enemy's plan for today, I have already gone ahead of that too. There is a strategy against this day, against your peace, your effectiveness, your confidence, your capacity to step into what today requires with anything resembling the steadiness I designed you to carry. He has been working on the friction, the discouragement, the small accumulation of difficulty that is designed to erode you before the significant moments arrive. I saw his plan. I went into it. And I have already disrupted what can be disrupted and strengthened what needed strengthening before you arrived. He tried to use the morning anxiety to set the tone for the whole day, to make the dread of what is coming define the experience of walking toward it. He tried to make the worst-case scenario the most real feeling scenario, more vivid, more credible, more present than the actual reality of a day I have already walked through. He tried to use your preparation and your prayer and your planning and still make you feel unprepared. Because even when people do everything right, he whispers, "It is not enough." But here is what he did not account for. He did not account for the fact that I went first. He planned for the version of your day that arrives without divine preparation. He set his strategy against you walking in alone. He did not account for the fact that I had already been in every room before you arrived, that I had already spoken into every heart, that I had already cleared what could be cleared and prepared what needed preparing. He misread the morning. He thought it belonged entirely to him. But I was there before the alarm sounded, and what I arranged before you woke up is already in place. Where he planted dread, I have placed peace that will arrive when you walk in. Where he arranged friction, I have made a way through. Where he whispered, "You are not enough for this," I have already demonstrated in the room before you arrived that you are not going in alone. And a person who goes in with me is always enough for what the day holds. Do not treat this like another video. What I am declaring over your day right now is the most important thing that you will hear before this day begins. Your day is not unattended. It is not unguarded. It is not walking toward you without preparation on my part. I went first, and what I found when I got there, what I prepared, what I arranged, what I left there for you, is what you are about to walk into. Now hear what I prepared when I went ahead of you. Hear what is waiting in the day. Not the version the anxiety described, but the version I walked into before you arrived. You have prayed for courage to face today. I am releasing a peace that will arrive exactly when you walk in. Not before, when you walk in. In the moment when the courage is most needed, when the room falls quiet before something significant is said, when the decision point arrives, and you need something steadier than your own confidence, I will be there. Not as a memory of a promise, as a present, active, specific peace that anchors you in the moment that would otherwise unsteady you. You have hoped the difficult conversation would somehow resolve itself. I am walking into it with you. Not to guarantee the outcome you most want, but to ensure you are not alone in it. To give you the words when the right words are needed. To give you the silence when silence is the right response. To give you the composure that does not come from having rehearsed enough, but from knowing that the God who went ahead is now walking beside you into what he already prepared. You have asked for wisdom on the decision that has no obvious answer. I am providing it. Not all at once, not a comprehensive vision of the full path. One step, the next right step. Clear enough to take, specific enough to be useful, timed perfectly for the moment you need it. rather than so far in advance that the clarity arrived before the question was fully formed. You have been surviving the weight of this season. I am about to shift something. Not everything at once, but something today. Something specific and recognizable. Something that will let you know, not just hope, not just believe, but know that what I said when I went ahead was true, and that the God who went before you today is the same God who goes before you into every day that follows this one. In your mind today, I am replacing the worst-case narrative with a settled, present peace. The version of today that has been playing in your mind, the anxious, catastrophized, every difficulty amplified version, I am interrupting it. Not by removing the difficulty, but by changing the lens through which you encounter it. A person who knows God went first does not see the same difficulty as a person who does not know it. The room is the same, the conversation is the same, but you are different because you know what I found when I got there. In your words today, I am giving you what to say in the moments when the right words feel unavailable. The conversation that requires wisdom beyond what you have accumulated on your own. The response that needs to be honest without being destructive, firm without being harsh, vulnerable without being exposed. I am already in the language of the day, and when the moment comes, the specific moment when the words matter most, what comes out of you will surprise you with its accuracy. That will not be you alone. That will be what I prepared when I went ahead. In your relationships today, the people you will encounter who carry their own weight, their own defensiveness, their own fear. I have already been working on hearts before you arrive. I have been softening what needed softening. Not to manufacture false harmony, but to create the conditions for something real to be possible. The person who seemed immovable the last time, something has shifted in them. Not everything, but something. Watch for it. It is one of my fingerprints on the day. Type "You already went ahead, Lord" in the comments if you are stepping into today differently, knowing God prepared the ground before your feet arrived. In your body today, the strength you need for what today requires. Not surplus, not abundance beyond what the day asks, but enough, exactly enough. The particular stamina this day requires arriving in the precise moments it is needed. You will not run out before the day is done. This I have already arranged. In your calling, the opportunity that today holds that you may not yet see. The conversation that opens a door. The connection that becomes the one you did not plan for, but needed. The moment of recognition, someone seeing something in you that this season has been developing, arriving from a direction you were not watching. I placed these in the day before the day began. They are there, and you will know them when you encounter them by the particular quality of their timing. Too specific to be coincidence, too well suited to your need to be accident. When you walk into the difficult meeting, I will be already present in the room, and you will feel it as a composure that does not originate with you. When you speak the words of the hard conversation, I will have already prepared the ground for them to land on, and you will notice it in the way the response comes back. When you face the decision, I will make the next step clear with enough light to take it, even if not enough to see all the way to the end. When the day tries to convince you that you are not enough for what it holds, remember this moment. Remember I told you I went first. And remember what I found when I got there. I told you through my word, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to give you a future and a hope. I meant every word. For this day, for the specific shape of this day that I already walked through before you woke up. I am turning today's dread into tomorrow's testimony. Your walking in afraid into your walking in covered. What felt like a day you were not ready for into a day I already prepared you for. What looked like ground you would have to navigate alone into ground I had already walked ahead of you and left my presence in. You will notice the evidence in small ways throughout the day. A moment of unexpected calm when you expected to be rattled. A word that comes out of you that surprises you with its rightness. A response from someone that opens something you thought was closed. A sense in the middle of what was supposed to be hard that you are not as alone as the morning made it feel. A clarity arriving at exactly the moment the decision needs to be made. These are not coincidences. These are my fingerprints on the day I went into before you. Learn to recognize them as you encounter them. And when you do, say it, even if only in your heart. He went ahead. He really did. Something is already in place in the day ahead of you. And what I put there is more than enough for what the day holds. But my child, there is something I need to say about the posture with which you walk into today. Because knowing I went first changes not just what you face, it changes how you face it. And the how matters enormously. I do not want you walking into today the same way you would walk in if you did not know what I am telling you now. I do not want you carrying into the meetings and the conversations and the decisions the same weight of aloneness, the same bracing, the same reliance on your own reserves, as if everything depends entirely on how well you perform. That is not the posture of someone who knows the God of the universe went ahead of them. That is the posture of someone who forgot. I want daily friendship, not just the reaching for me on the mornings when the day ahead is visibly hard. Not just the crisis-driven prayer and the emergency room faith. I want the ordinary mornings, the ones that feel manageable, the ones where the day does not carry anything particularly frightening. I want those mornings too, because the daily closeness is what makes the difficult days different. It is the relationship built in the ordinary that holds in the extraordinary. Talk to me in the car on the way to wherever today takes you. Not a formal prayer, a conversation. Tell me what you are walking toward. Tell me what you're afraid of. Tell me what you are hoping for. Tell me what you need. I already know all of it, but I want to hear you say it. Because the saying of it is part of the process of releasing it. And releasing it is the beginning of the posture that receives what I prepared when I went ahead. Talk to me in the moment, just before the difficult thing. The 30 seconds before you walk into the room. The breath before you pick up the phone. The pause before the conversation begins. In that moment, just say my name. Not a speech, not a formal request, just the name. I will be there before the sound leaves your lips. Because I went ahead, and ahead includes that doorway. Now, as you step into today, let some things go at the threshold. Let go of the worst-case version of today that you have been carrying since before you opened your eyes. It was never the version I walked into when I went ahead. Let it go at the door. It does not belong in the day I prepared. Let go of the reliance on your own sufficiency, the exhausting project of being enough for today through the force of your own preparation, your own competence, your own accumulated ability to handle what comes. You were not designed to walk into every day on your own capacity alone. You were designed to walk into every day covered by the one who went first. Let go of the fear of what today might reveal about your adequacy, your progress, your worth, your readiness. What today reveals about you is not the final word about you. And what the day might try to present as evidence against you is exactly the kind of thing I went ahead to address before it had the chance to speak. Let go of the comparison between yourself and the version of someone else who seems to walk into their days with an ease and confidence you do not feel. You do not know what I have gone ahead of them into. You only know what I've gone ahead of you into, and that is enough to walk forward with. Let go of yesterday, its weight, its unresolved things, its evidence for or against the direction your life is moving. Today is a new day, not because the circumstances have reset, but because I went into it fresh. I do not carry yesterday's version of you into today's version of the day. I went ahead into today. Right? I walk in knowing you went first. In the comments, if today is the day you stop walking into your days as if you are going alone, and you step forward knowing the God who goes before you already prepared the ground. Do not go back to the morning anxiety the moment you close this. Do not return to the worst-case version of the meeting or the conversation before you have even arrived at it. Do not pick up the aloneness you just set down. Do not walk into what I prepared as if I did not prepare it, as if the rooms are unattended and the conversations are unguarded, and the day is just whatever happens when you show up without covering. Walk into today differently. Speak in today's conversations differently, with the quiet confidence of someone who knows the ground has been prepared. Expect differently from today. Not passivity, not presumption, but the grounded expectation of someone who knows that what waits ahead has already been walked into by the God who loves them. You are not the same person who pressed play this morning. Something has settled in you. Something about the day has changed. Not in its circumstances, but in your understanding of what accompanies you into it. Honor that. Carry it into every room. And do not let the noise of the day convince you to put it down. My beloved child, I am not finished speaking to you yet. But first, let me give you words to bring before me. Before we step into this day together, let us pray. Lord Jesus, I come before you this morning at the beginning of a day that holds things I am not entirely ready for. A heart that is carrying some of what yesterday left. A mind that has been working on today's problems before today has fully arrived, and a spirit that needs what only you can give before this day begins. I know you have been with me through every day that has brought me to this one. Through every difficult meeting I did not think I would get through, and did. Through every conversation that felt impossible before it started, and somehow found its way. Through every decision I made without full clarity, and every moment I showed up when I was not sure I had enough to show up with. You were there in all of it. I was not as alone as those moments made me feel. Today, Lord, I receive what you are telling me. That you went ahead. That before this day's alarm sounded, before I opened my eyes, before the weight of what today holds had announced itself, you were already there, in the meetings, in the conversations, in the decisions, in the moments this day will hold that I cannot yet fully name. You went first, and what you found when you got there, what you prepared, what you arranged, what you left there for me, that is what I am walking into. I surrender the worst-case version of today. I release the anxious rehearsal of how things might go wrong. I place in your hands the outcome of the meeting I have been dreading, the conversation I do not know how to navigate, the decision I cannot yet clearly see. Take them, not so I disengage, but so I engage with your peace instead of my fear. I ask you for wisdom in the moments today where wisdom is needed. For words in the conversations where the right words feel unavailable. For composure in the moments where what is at stake makes composure difficult. For the specific, timely courage that walks into what you already prepared, not ahead of need, but exactly when it is needed. Thank you for going first. Thank you for the kind of love that does not wait for me to arrive, that gets there before me and prepares the ground. Thank you for this morning, for this word, for the interruption of this specific ordinary moment that turned out to be anything but ordinary. I step into today covered, not alone, not unprepared, sent forward by the God who already walked the path. In your name I pray. Amen. My beloved child, I am not finished speaking to you yet. There is still more I want you to carry into the hours ahead. That prayer settled something, not just in you, in the day itself. Because when a person steps into their day from a place of surrender rather than striving, something shifts in the atmosphere of what they are walking toward. What you just released, the outcome, the fear, the worst-case rehearsal, I have received it. And in its place, I am giving you what I always intended you to walk into today with: peace that makes no sense to the circumstances, but holds anyway. Now hear me for these final moments, because I want to leave you with something specific to carry into every room of this day. I am already there. In every place today will take you. I am already there. Not just here, in this moment of morning stillness, speaking into your ears through this word. There. In the actual geography of the day, in the actual conversations, in the actual rooms. When you walk in, I am the presence you sense before the first word is spoken. When you sit down, I am the steadiness that holds when the stakes make steadiness difficult. When the decision arrives, I am the clarity that comes in the moment it is needed, not a moment before. When the difficult moment comes today, and it will come, because I did not promise you a day without difficulty. I promised you a day I went ahead into. Remember this. Remember that you are not encountering it for the first time. I encountered it first, and what I found when I got there, I prepared. And what I prepared is exactly what you need. You will know it when you feel it. That unexpected steadiness, that word that comes from somewhere steadier than your own preparation. That sense of not being as alone in the room as the morning made it feel. That is me, in what I prepared before you arrived. Go forward, step in, walk into what I already walked into. And know, as your foot crosses every threshold today, the God who goes before you was already there when you get there. Dear friend, if this message touched your heart and you feel led to support this ministry, you can use Super Thanks below. Your support helps us continue sharing messages of prayer, hope, and healing with those who need them most. God bless you abundantly. Type Amen if you are stepping into today covered. And share this with someone who needs to know God already went ahead of them today.